It's that time again, folks. It's 7 o'clock on the Monday, 16th of September, 2024, and it's time for the 10th round of the PSGL PlayStation, getting mixed up, PlayStation F2 Championship here at the Autodromo National, Monza. One of the fastest venues in the world, one of the most legendary venues on the calendar. And I am Otaku Logan, and I am joined by Mr. T-Dub. Hello, sir.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
Are we doing that? I think we
Fine.
I think we can do that. Yeah.
You say so again.
Update day as well. We've had a couple of changes, some tweaks to the way that the ERS modes are working. So it'll be interesting to see how drivers adapt to that, how quickly they adapt to that. But the Temple of Speed, I think this should be a very interesting race, considering what we've seen in recent weeks. The championship battle flip-flopping between Moustache and ET8 Paul. Just 3 points separating them at the summit with 3 races to go. This could be a very critical round for the destination of the championship.
Absolutely. Paul leads by 3 points ahead of Moustache after scoring 2 more points, finishing 1 position ahead of him in Mexico, which was another one of those tracks where anything can pretty much happen. There's the longest DRS street, of course. Qualifying, the collisions are off to prevent anyone from getting advantage of the slipstream, using and abusing it. You may see Gian has already retired from the session. He's a qualifying ban, so he'll be starting at the very back of the grid. So the other 17 drivers here tonight getting underway for this session, and oh dear, someone's already lost their wing. It's early days, and they've already lost their wing. I think that's the car up there. Sorry for the flashing. Oh dear. People weaving everywhere.
A bit of a kerfuffle?
It's Lawrence. Well, to be fair, they're ghosted. This shouldn't be happening. It was Lawrence that lost the wing, so he'll have to come back in again. So Moustache is pretty much leading the way. Moustache second in the championship, hoping to avoid any close shaves tonight and get up to the top step of the podium again. He'd love to do that. Most notably, I do not believe that Owen is here tonight. The 2-time winner on the trot is not here.
And that gives an opportunity for somebody else to win, because he wasn't particularly dominant in Mexico, but he got his strategy right. Belgium, though, that was a hugely impressive performance. He was sublime through qualifying. He did make a mistake which cost him pole position, but then was very, very good in the race. An exquisite drive to take back-to-back race wins. But that means there's one less driver that can upset the apple cart at the front of the pack. And I think ET8 Paul and TTM Moustache will be pretty pleased about that.
Yeah, so as we see Moustache finish his first lap here, coming around the Parabolica, as it's famously known, where Charles Leclerc has taken victory here twice in 2019, and of course a couple of weeks ago in 2024. And Moustache's time is only a quarter second down. And sorry.
Bless you.
My sincere apologies, I couldn't find the mute button. Tailsborough has the fastest time, and he was the first to go out as well. And scratch that, the championship leader takes that in the Pink Panther car. Sorry, we've been told to say that on stream. That is the rules. Can't say who, but that is the rules. He takes the top time by 0.17. Impressive from Paul, as we try to look forward down the field. Apologies for the flash again. Sipala is already invalidated. You can see he's just weaving out of control. If you weave too much, you'll hit the wall, as what happened to Lawrence, who's coming back out now with a brand new wing. Now, they've not got all the wings in the world, I'll tell you right now. If you break this one, it's on you, mate, and it's going to be another Logan Sargent situation in Australia where they had to sit him out, and it didn't work out because that one got nowhere near the top 10.
Yes, absolutely. And actually, Sipala dropped it on their flying lap. That's why they've returned straight to the pits. And Thomas Covers, who also didn't get a flying lap in, made a complete mess of the Ascari chicane. Didn't trouble the apex at all and went flying over the runoff on the right-hand side. So obviously invalidating. With that run, it wouldn't have been a particularly competitive lap anyway. So they've got to try and regroup and go again for the second flying lap of the session.
So we see Lawrence about to start a lap. We're going round out of the Parabolica. Right on the edge. Don't be careful not to invalidate the lap. Make across the line to start the lap. And DRS open, the flap open. Thankfully, not this McLaren situation. We'll not talk about that though. Heading down into the first chicane now. Of course, this has been reprofiled for the 2024 Grand Prix. Of course, a bit slow on updating that. They could have at least told the developers that they were going to update it and show the plans. Never mind, this is just a video game. We don't have to be totally accurate. In comes Lawrence into the chicane, where Piastri made that bold move to take the lead. Of course, he didn't win it. Into Lesmo 1. My goodness. Lots of sliding into the corner. Now into the second part. Nicely done. Down in 5th gear, up to the 8th gear now for the run down towards Ascari, which was also reprofiled. As he had taken their charm away from him. Not a very big fan of that, but it still remains here. My word, massive slide into the corner, but he's out of it now. May have lost a bit of time from that, but what is Lawrence going to put up here? Coming towards the Parabolica, unsurprisingly, a corner that's not a DRS zone, or a straight that's not a DRS zone, I should say, before the Parabolica, coming out now, and he's going to cross the line, goes to the inside to reduce the loss of time. It's only 11th, pardon me.
Definitely a lot of time on the table. I think managed to get the rotation actually through the Lesmos pretty nicely, but was way too late on the brakes into Ascari, as you said, and also into the second chicane, the Della Roggia. So time to find for Lawrence, who was pretty decent last week in Spa. Will be looking to potentially challenge towards those top 5 places.
11 minutes and change remain in the session. Still plenty of time for the drivers to improve on their lap times and possibly try and topple Paul from pole position, or should I call it the pole position.
I'm a big fan of that. I think we should keep that.
Yeah, but don't be the big fan on Alex Albon's car. Sorry.
Oh, Thomas Covers. I was watching him through Ascari. That's where he invalidated on his first final lap. Millimetrically perfect on the track limits as he flew through it again, just about keeping it within the white lines. And we're hoping to challenge towards the sharp end. We haven't seen Thomas Covers right at the front for a couple of weeks now, and that little dip in form will be a bit concerning coming round the Parabolica, or the Curva Alboreto as it is now known. Pulling gears up to the line, it is an 18.7, nestled just inside the top 10. Part of a little gang currently sat on a 1:18.7 from 6th down into 11th place, Mario's Formula.
Yeah, he's 0.36 down on Paul, and if you are 1/10 slower than him, you're in 12th. Which is quite unfortunate. They're very close to each other right in this around area, you know, from 6th to 12th. Actually, 6th is just under a tenth faster than Lawrence. So that's minimal gaps here. Very fine margins are expected in this division. But none of them comes as less fine as the one at the top. The gap is still 0.17.
Whoa.
My goodness, Talesborough goes completely off, and that'll be the end of his run on this time around. Who else we got? Paul is starting his lap. He's slower in the first sector, though, so he has to pick up the pace in the other two.
Oh, I've just seen Epic Vale currently in 5th place, was 2/10 up through the first couple of sectors, and another driver to invalidate through the Ascari chicane. That track map has gone bright red and he's going to have to return to the pits to try again. We're only halfway through the session though, so plenty of opportunities.
Moustache, he's on a good flap, he's good, but not going to be good enough for Paul. 0.13 down, and now he's nestled right behind his championship rival on the front row for now.
Think is going to get bumped down because ET8 Paul in particular is already a 10th up, so that gap between first and second is just about to widen as the Pink Panther comes through the Parabolica. How fast will he be up to the line? Spanias, no, Paul into the pits. Wow, interesting stuff there. Spanias fills the gap, but it doesn't actually extend, so ET8 Paul maybe just keeping something in his back pocket there.
Oh, it did extend, but it was only by 6 thousandths of a second. That's a lot of time.
Very true. And Nico has just pushed Spanias down and Moustache down once again. So the top 4 covered by just under a tenth and a half.
Yeah, it's a lot of time if you are a Planck constant. The scale of the universe taught me that word. Thank you, Kerry Huang.
I'm not seeing any other drivers really improving, by the way. Yasir Saki in the banana car currently in 6th place. Zane's made a mistake, is 5.5 seconds down. Nordic Ninja has invalidated, so those guys are going to be returning to the pits. Is there anyone out of position? Mario's Formula down in 14th will be a bit of a concern. Likewise with Casper Flack in 11th, but obviously it is so close. The margins are so fine that one tiny mistake and you could be losing 6 or 7 places. As Casper Flack out of the pits, locking up massively into the first chicane. That's not going to do those tyres any good at all.
And that's why it's an out lap. Lauren starting another lap here. We're on the edge of the circuit here. Coming towards turn numero uno. Oh, actually, that's Spanish. Well, I think, is it the same in Italian and Spanish? They do share a lot of things in common, Spanish and Italian. Then again, so does Spanish and Portuguese. But coming around the second corner, or the second complex, I could say, the long right-hander does Lawrence and into the second chicane as he gets let by the ghosts of races past, or races present, I should say. A 5.9 kilometer circuit, one of the best tracks in the world. Very simple, but very fast. It maintains the charm it's always had since it started back in like 1920s, 1930s, but it's been on the World Championship calendar every year except 1980. Why, I will never know.
Brilliant track. Did you watch Lawrence there through the second Lesmo?
Yes, I did.
Incredibly close once again to invalidating. Was half a tenth down on his personal best though through the first couple of sectors, and unless he made a complete Horlicks of the final sector on his first final lap, probably isn't going to find too much time. We'll have to wait and see as we're pulling gears up to the line. Where does the right red car go? The right red? That's the wrong way around. The bright red car slots just inside the top 10.
And in turn, Vale is going to start a lap. Yes, this better not be an epic fail from Epic Vale. After all, he is in a McLaren rocket ship themed car. Going to the very inside of this long right-hander before heading to the chicane. Being a McLaren driver, he should know how to tackle this one, especially in battle. Absolutely. Nicely through. And into Lesmo again. Right on the edge. You want to get on the edge of that rumble strip, but not too far. You invalidate. Just like that. He did not invalidate there, though. He did it perfectly. Can he maintain this momentum heading into Ascari? There he goes, takes the curb. Eyes went across the curves, and that will be an invalidation for Epic Fail. It was going so well as well. So we do have Nikosos, by the way, in second, and there's a spin there. That's Moustache. No, it's not Moustache. I do apologise. It was Lakitu, who's in last right now. Gian, of course, not taking part in the session, doesn't count towards this session standing, so Lakitu is in dead last. Paul coming around, and he's on a lap, is he? Bang. He is, and bang, there he goes into the 118.2s. The gap gets even bigger. The rich get richer.
I think he's got even more time than that, because he must have... That can't have been as good a lap as he was previously on, because he was 2 tenths up through the first couple of sectors, and he found considerably less time than that. Also, something worthy to note, Mario's Formula, who has just come back into the pits, was also 3 tenths up on their personal best, but bailed out. So, putting themselves under pressure. Casper Flack in the McLaren Esports livery car also jumping up into 7th place, pushing another fellow McLaren Esports livery car in Epic Vale down one more position. Even now is sliding around the Parabolica. This is the Fast and Furious Monza drift, apparently. Look at the gaps, by the way. Evan Nye is within 6 tenths of Paul and is last. If we don't count Lakitu. Lakitu has a very unrepresented time. Mental. Very, very close. And I imagine, as everyone bolts on their final fresh set of softs, that's going to get even closer. And this is the thing that's potentially very worrying for everybody else. The times are very close together, but ET8 Paul is nearly 2 tenths clear of his nearest competitor. That is a lot, considering the top 16 are covered by 6 tenths. A third of it is the gap from first to second. I see. Because also on a lap right now, he won the chaos that was the Saudi Arabia race, the Jeddah Corniche. Got a free run to the line after the chaos behind him. How will he do on this lap? He improves. He actually improves to within
half a tenth of Paul applying the pressure, but has he got time to do another lap? I fear not. He may have to recharge this lap and do a full lap. It will be a very risky move, but, you know, no, he can't do it. He's got nothing left. I've just checked, the fuel tank's empty. Is it? Yeah, that's a 0.4.
Oh, so that is the last effort then from Nico. Provisionally on the front row, and unless he takes some interesting racing lines back to the pits, which thankfully he is not doing, that is going to be the benchmark laid down by one of the alien cars. MC Parla, currently 13th, is coming back into the pits as well.
I remember using the alien car in The Simpsons Hit and Run. Brilliant car.
What a game.
What a game. Remaster it, darn it! If they remastered Battle for Bikini Bottom, they can remaster anything. Oh, and the Final Fantasy X remaster, I guess, as well. It's a different game entirely.
Thomas Covers is going to be the first driver to start their final flying lap of the session. ET8 Paul is going to be one of the last. You can see the Pink Panther car just coming out of the pits. There are a couple of drivers still in the pit lane as well that need to get a bit of a shift on. Thomas Covers cuts the beam to start the final flying lap. I think there is a car, that is Lakitu, in the Alpine Esports Livery car, sat right behind Thomas Covers. Obviously won't be gaining any advantage from the slipstream to tile down towards the first chicane.
He completely messes up the first chicane and bails out immediately. Marios is also on a lap, but he's not showing any representative gains. Lakitu is on a lap as well, but he needs to make massive improvements. He needs to get out that last row 9. And what has just happened?
Marius Fulmer taking way too much curve through Ascari. Massive, massive wobble. I think that's probably going to be qualifying over for the driver down in 15th.
Yeah, and he made a massive gain as well, I see. Well, how's he going to fare in this? Is he going to bail out again? No, he's not. He's going to just cross to the line. And he goes up to 8th. So back into the representative times, I guess. 4 thousandths behind Casper Flack. Zane just crossed the line to start a lap. Moustache coming through the third corner now to start his final run. And Talesborough has not had a good start to this this first corner. I don't think he's setting a good enough time, is he? Well,
no,
he is.
And, Moustache also not improving.
Yeah, Moustache is not improving, so it's all looking good for Paul, who's about to start his final lap, and he will be pretty much rounding out the field now. Is Imsapala? Oh, Imsapala, don't do that, please. That's not very... yeah, he completely... What happened?
Well, we can. I don't think we need to narrate what happened, to be honest there. I don't think
Imsapala's not going to make it.
Anyway, no. Justice, potentially.
Karma. That's all that happened. This one. Nico Sauce cannot improve on their lap. Moustache cannot improve on their lap. Spanias has invalidated. This is good news for Paul, but it ain't over. Here comes Talesborough. He's improving, but not improving enough. In fact, he stays in 5th. Yasser Saki, not improving. Casper Flack, how's he doing?
Not improving either.
Oh, goodness. What is going on? Marios has backed off. Epic Veil has backed off. Nordic Ninja goes up to 6th. I think this is over. Oh, someone's went up the order. Yasser Saki has went up to 3rd.
And Paul is finding time as well. Just 3/4 of a tenth of a second coming through the first couple of sectors. So could potentially break into... Wow, Yasisaki pulling out a final sector from the absolute dreamland there as Paul barreling down towards the Parabolica was 3/4 of a tenth up on his personal best. So could potentially get into the 18-1s to cap off what will be an incredibly dominant qualifying performance. To the line we go. Not quite.
But it's still going to be good enough for pole position. No one else is on a representative lap. It is Paul on pole position. And I'm calling it that right now because he was just dominant. Dominant this session, and he earned that pole.
Yeah, it wasn't even a personal best in the final sector and still managed to put daylight between himself and the rest of the pack. That is some... potentially worrying signs for everybody else, especially his main championship contender Moustache, who is only 6th on the grid.
Absolutely. So Nico Sauce will be rivaling on the front row. Moustache down in 6th. Very disappointing from the vice champion leader. Lakitu is within 3/4 of a second, but it's still down there in 17th with Jan, not allowed to participate in qualifying, starting at the back of the pack.
We mentioned, by the way, how close it was. The top 13 cars. Well, let's do the top 14, actually. They were covered by comfortably under half a second. Can't
get that in the real Formula One.
Absolutely not. Although the top 6 cars, you could potentially say, will be covered by not a lot. As we saw in Monza, they were covered by just a tenth and a half, the top 6.
Yeah, it was brilliant. They are starting to get very close, the cars are now. I think the problem is, though, that in some years, you could just get the most dominant car just destroying everyone. And you wonder, what's the point of watching?
I think that's what makes the... and I'm probably going to get a little bit of backlash from people that don't like me saying this, but that's what I quite like about the McLaren thing. The whole point of F1 is innovation, right? And they've done something innovative. They've exploited a loophole, and then everybody complains about it. That's
just hypocrisy. This is not the start, by the way. Please ignore it. It is hypocrisy because, it's about innovation. Yes, they have rules, so for safety and all. Someone's got disqualified for reversing at the start line. But yeah, I just don't see the point. I think the rules should be more lax. I think to encourage innovation and creativity, but they're not. And they shouldn't be accusing people of being, it's illegal and that. I actually think McLaren is idea. I think there should be
it's genius.
Yes. If they haven't done anything wrong, then they should be allowed to keep it. Otherwise, there's no point.
Yeah, and think about it like this. If we didn't have teams doing stuff like this, we wouldn't have had 2009 with the double diffuser.
Absolutely. And remember...
Everybody, I'm going to finish this off. Everybody that's complaining, you can take that one.
And remember, it's not all about the car. The driver has to have some input as well. They're the ones driving the damn thing.
Precisely.
Lewis Hamilton, without his input, he wouldn't have won 7 world titles. Max Verstappen, he wouldn't be having possibly 4 titles in a row. Because after all, who's driving it, Not the engineers. I tell you what, put Nikita Mazepin in the RB19. He will struggle. Put him in the F2004. He will struggle. Put him in the MP44. Well, good luck.
His arms would probably snap.
Exactly. His little oligarch arms. Or oligarch son's arms. I'm glad he's not in F1 anymore. He shouldn't have been in the first place. It should have been Callum Ilott. Now he's stuck in the realms of his IndyCar. Except if you're Colton Herter, perhaps. Or Teo Porcher. I think Bortoletto's getting that Sauber seat. Unlucky for Colapinto.
I'd quite like to see Colapinto on the grid.
Yeah, but in the Williams, man. If they get rid of Stroll, they could put Colapinto in the Aston. The same car engine, so they'll let him have it.
He's an upgrade, though, and I don't think Williams will be too happy about it.
No. Sign him on loan, why don't you?
Let's be honest, though. Lance Stroll is probably keeping that seat for the next 10 years. Because Alonso's not going to be around. Let's say Fernando Alonso's here for another 3 years. Lance Stroll will 100% be there for that long. And then when Alonso retires, they'll go, well, Lance Stroll can be our team leader. He can be our experienced head. So there's no way they're going to get rid of Lance Stroll anytime.
What has he done? Let's be honest. Not much.
He got the
3 lucky podiums.
The performance in Turkey for qualifying and then the first half of the race was impressive. But then he destroyed his tyres and ended up falling. He managed to finish behind Lando Norris, who at one stage was over a minute behind him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he nearly finished behind Daniel Ricciardo, who I think spun about 3 times in that race as well. I was also
Yes,
over a
he
minute
did.
behind Lance Stroll, so...
Wally
I just
Merchant.
don't- And he's not even particularly good at quali.
Oh, yeah, he isn't. Well, anyway, that's my case. Trying to feed Colapinto into a full-time seat. Well, it is a full-time seat now, but you know what I mean. Let's just say super sub duty. He's got more points than Logan Sargent ever got. And now that there's going to be a lot of raging Americans with their "Make Formula One America Great Again." It already is. You've got 3 races, darn it.
Exactly.
To be fair, if they've got a driver from Argentina, when are they bringing back Buenos Aires? Or when are they having a race at Finland again? They actually never had a race in Finland. They have one in Sweden. I don't think there's any Swedish drivers now. They got rid of Ericsson, who, by the way, was being kept on because he had the sponsorship money and scoring 0 points, and all the other drivers who were scoring points and had no funding were got kicked out. Felipe Nasr, Pascal Wehrlein, to be noted. Thankfully, Charles Leclerc showed him the door. Well, to be fair, he showed himself the door to Ferrari, and he showed Marcus Ericsson the exit door to IndyCar, and then he went on to win the Indy 500.
Pascal Wehrlein is like one of the greatest F1 what-ifs, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. By the way, the other fact, he's only the second black driver in Formula One. After Lewis Hamilton, obviously. This is a fact.
That's an unnerving statistic.
True.
I'd expect you to remember this, but Pascal Wehrlein, he was the favourite to get the Merc seat when Rosberg retired, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, I thought, isn't that a bit fast? He was only in a manor.
What could have been? And then he was average at Sauber.
Yeah.
And then
one day, one of the
Formula E, of course.
One day, one of the Formula E drivers is going to come back and join Formula One. It'll have to happen eventually. I think it has happened before, actually. Is it Kubica? Oh yeah, Nick de Vries, of course. And we all know how that went.
Well, if you take a sample size of his F1 career driving for Williams, then he looks pretty decent.
I like to see Jake Dennis in the car, in the F1 car, or Jake Hughes, whatever. There's 2 named Jake, isn't there? No, Mitch Evans would be interesting. Anyway, we better get started. Back to the virtual world that is PSGL. 5 seconds until commencement of the Grand Prix, which isn't really Grand Prix, it's 50% distance, so it's called the Grupra. It's half.
Gurper.
Or Grand. Just Grand, that's it. It's not a Prix. Oh, no, just a Prix.
Well,
Prix.
You could call it just a Prix.
Yeah, it's time for the... No, I can't say that word. It's time for the PSGL Prix.
I think that's what they should have called the sprint, the Prix. You have the Prix and then you have the Grand Prix.
It's not even... No.
Wow.
In fact, sprint should not be part of it. It just does absolutely nothing to add to the festivities. Just the race and that's it. You know, it's not much action, but remember, we've been doing this for about 70 years and now you just start complaining.
Look at those clouds, by the way. That looks maybe a little
not
bit
very
like rain.
eerie. Like, when do we get rain in Italy? It's September.
Do you remember 2017 qualifying?
I forgot.
The monsoon.
2008.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw a wet race in the British Grand Prix, wet dry race. I'm just looking it up right now. Remember, we are doing 27 laps here at the Autodromo Nacional Monza, with Paul on pole position, with Nico Sosa on the left. Or the right.
This run down to turn one could be one of two things. It could be incredibly clean, or it could be absolute chaos.
Well, let's find out together, shall we? It's lights out and away we go! Who is going to get the best start off the line? Let's find out. It looks like it's going to be Paul. That's going to lead them into turn number 1. And turn number 2 as well. And this is not a good start for Nico Sosa. In fact, he's lost 2 places. Kasper Fleck and Yasser Saki take his positions, and now he's down at 4. He's fighting it back though. Yasser Saki and Nico Sosa going into the long curve that turns into the next chicane. But it is Paul that leads. Squabbles happening at the back, but it is going to be Paul that leads them into the chicane. Spanias and Epic Vale doing battle, and there's a big collision at the back. It is Lakitu and Thomas Covers, and that is just making their night bad to worse. But back to the front, it's Paul ahead of Kasper Flax in ET8 1-2. And then it's Yasser Saki, Nico Sosa, Nordic Ninja, Mustache, Spaniards, Epic Vale, Tails, and Diogo Silva, your top 10. Into the sky we come. And it's going to be the further at the back. Gian has made 3 positions already. So a good start from him despite what happened. Now, has the ERS changes made a difference? Well, we'll probably know later in the race.
This probably isn't the best track to test it, though, because if we are going to see any DRS trains, it is going to be at the Temple of Speed as we start lap number 2 with Paul just under 0.4 of a second ahead of Kasper Flack, who is gaining. Is he potentially thinking about a movement to turn 1? No. The other McLaren Esports every car has pulled out to the inside, though, and Epic Vale is going to challenge Spanias down into turn number 1. Bit wobbly for the driver that's just lost 7th place, clattered the sausage curbs, and then clatters the McLaren Esports every car, but Epic Vale does manage to force his way through up into 7th.
And now Tailsford's right on the rear and is going to go on the outside of turn number 3 and is going to take the 8th position into the chicane. And he duly does so with relative ease. So he's now in 8th position. Mustache and Paul, 2 championship leaders, have maintained the position they started in. Mustache has got to make some progress in this race, otherwise that gap will get bigger and bigger and bigger. Not just for him, but for everyone else. Paul leads the championship right now.
And pretty comfortably with the gap between the drivers. Moustache, it's been the story of recent races, hasn't it? The qualifying hasn't been the problem. It's been the race pace and struggling to just make that last move to get up a few places, maybe show a little bit more aggression in there, where some of his rivals have been willing to make a move like that, and that's what's seen him outside of the podium places more often than not in the last few weeks.
Jan meets another position, up to 14th now, as they cross the line to start lap number 3.
Definitely going to see a pass for the lead here. ET8 Paul pulling out to the inside as Kasper Flack goes all the way around the outside. Gets the move done before we even get to the braking zone, and that is the Pink Panther car dropping down into 2nd place. Yasisaki in the Banana car still sat in 3rd. A little bit of a gap back to Nico as Nordic Ninja very close behind as well. And then it's Moustache, 0.7 of a second off the back of Nordic Ninja. You've got to be very careful that you don't fall out of the DRS train.
Otherwise, that will not only hurt his chances of getting up the field, but his championship chances too. Kasper Flack is your new leader in lap number 3 of 27, 1/9 off the Grand Prix distance. Paul and Yasser in the Banana car trailing behind, and Nico Sauce and Nordic Ninja are starting to fall back. They need to get them positions back. That time is very crucial, and Paul starts to use the DRS to gain that toll on Kasper Flack and maintain the gap. Into Ascari they come. Kasper Flack looking to be a winner again here in PSGL as they head down to the Parabolica, and will be Kasper Flack that leads them into lap number 4.
Interesting tyre strategies. Only 4 drivers opting for the hard compound tyres. That's Spanias, Marius Formula, M. Stapala and Thomas Covers. Everybody else on the mediums as Kasper Flack sets the fastest lap of the race, but he is going to relinquish the lead of the race as ET8 Paul, as we saw on the previous lap, this time it's the Pink Panther, moving forward, and Kasper Flack relinquishes 1st place. No other swapping for positions interestingly further down the order.
I have to correct you on that. Marius has taken Diogo Silva's position at the back of the stretch, so he is now into 10th.
Yeah, those hard tyres seem like they have warmed up. Spanias, who is on them, started in 4th, I think it was, had an absolutely dreadful first couple of laps, dropping down into 9th, getting mugged by a few drivers. That seems to have stabilised, and actually Marius Formula, like you said, making up a position there on Diogo Silva.
Yasser Saki starting to get close to Casper Flack. He once had the lead, he doesn't anymore, and Yasser Saki is going to try and see if he can find a way past. Zane is going to make a move for 12th place. It's a big squabble here happening for the lower positions, and Zane is currently, Diogo Silva is leading that right now, as Zane tries to make a pass, and that's actually Gian. He's on fire. Gian is going to make another position, and I tell you what, he is going to make a great Lando Norris charge, perhaps.
Potentially. We've seen that the race pace from Jan a lot of the time can be very, very good. And he's able to fight his way through even when they have a poor qualifying session. Marius Formula take that back. It's Jan setting the fastest lap. The lead changes hands once again as Casper Flack goes through. We've got a bit of a 3-car scrap just outside the points paying positions. Diogo Silva mugged by a couple of cars, dropping down into 13th behind Zane and Jan.
Yes, Zane at the top of those, the best of the worst. I can say they're not the worst, I'm just using it as terminology. They are outside the points, but if they can take the lead off this spot, they could be in a prime position to try and nick a point or two heading into the later stages of the race. It's getting a bit dark, didn't you think? It was much darker than earlier.
Yeah, potentially rain on the web. Just watched Yasser Saki have a bit of a brown pants moment going through the first Lesmo. Was way too late on the brakes. Managed to get the car stopped eventually and just managed to keep it within track limits. So a bit of a warning sign there for the driver currently in 3rd place.
Whoa! Yasser Casper Flack has a massive brick dropping moment there. Nearly loses it. Ascari and Paul's right behind him. Surely the lead will change plans. Maybe Yasser Saki will get involved too. They're all together now. My word, how did Casper Flack keep it together? Nerves of steel, this guy is. It's going to be 3 wide, perhaps, into the stretch. So here it goes. Who's it going to be? It's going to be Paul that gets past, and so does Yasser Saki. Is he going to make a move into the first corner? They're poised to, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. There's a touch into the first corner, but it's Paul that takes the lead here. Yasser Saki. Casper Flack falls to 3rd.
Got to take out a lottery ticket after saving that. Incredible stuff. Yasser Saki was interested in doing a bit of bump drafting down the straight. Had absolutely no interest whatsoever in taking the lead of the race down into the first chicane, letting ET8 Paul control the pace from now on. As Yasser Saki had a bit of a moment there going through the chicane over the curbs.
Yes, he did. He nearly lost it, but went back into shape, but he's lost a bit of time as a result to Paul. He's now half a second down, and he's closer to Casper Flack than he is to Paul. Nico Sauce is now close to Casper Flack. This is for a podium position here on lap number 6. Coming through the Ascari now. Now, hopefully they don't make a mistake, and he does it again! Casper Flack makes another mistake at the Ascari chicane, and now Nico Sauce is going to try and push his way in right back in the top 3, but Casper Flack, the last to break into the corner, will get it, but I'm sure it's going to be inevitable that Nico Sauce is going to take the position now, and perhaps Yasser Saki is going to take the overall lead of this race too. Here comes Nico Sauce, nicely through, and they're now approaching the stretch once again. Yasser Saki takes the lead. They're still fighting for 3rd. Casper Flack and Nico Sauce into there, and Casper Flack still defending, still side by side. These two cannot be separated, and if they can't separate each other, then Nordic Ninja is going to get involved too, because he's right behind. No way, 3 wide, are you sure? 3 wide into the corner. Nordic Ninja, you legend, he takes 3rd position.
Casper Flack's losing places, hang over fist, and now he's in the wall. Contact, I'm not sure who it was with, potentially Tails. We've got a safety car deployed absolutely instantly, so we can catch our breath there as he spat into the barrier coming through the Della Roggia chicane. We'll go back to that move though, Nordic Ninja. I mean, he didn't even need to do it under braking because he had such an incredible run through the Curva Grande. Pulled past both of them on the grass to take 3rd, and then there was a bit of a tete-a-tete going into the chicane between Nico and Casper Flack. It was the McLaren driver coming off significantly worse.
Yeah, they just couldn't let go of each other, could they? They just couldn't let go, and they paid the price. And it's a safety car. We rarely get these now. Well, there hasn't been one in real life since Canada.
Yeah, I was something I was going to say as well. Maybe to explain what was happening with Casper Flack. His rear tyres were very warm. I noticed that both of them were over 100 degrees. Everybody's going to file into the pits, apart from the drivers on hard tyres. But yeah, his rear tyres were very hot. So maybe a setup thing. Maybe his tyre pressures are a bit too low, and that could explain why he's having a few issues through the high-speed corners.
So Marius will now take the lead after a relatively poor qualifying session by his standards. He's going to take the lead ahead of M. Sipala, who has a penalty for cutting corners. And then Thomas Covers is going to be in third. And then it'll be the rest of the field that have just pitted. Everyone on hard tyres. Spanias, the rogue one, taking medium tyres. Interesting choice.
So he's obviously either predicting another safety car, which, let's be honest, is pretty likely with some of the hard racing we've seen so far, especially into that second De La Rocha chicane, or he's going for an ambitious two-stop, which, I'll be honest, I don't think will really work if we are green flag running to the end of the race, because the power you get and the overall lap time you gain from being in the DRS train, I think that will outweigh the tyre delta that he'll have by pitting for another time. Pitting for a second time, sorry.
I'm sorry, I have to cut this. James Head has just said, Nordic Ninja is a madman, obviously had too much pasta.
Can concur.
Brilliant. Well done. Well done. That's brilliant. I wish we could pin that like you can on Discord, but unfortunately we cannot. So, it's all changed at the front, but it'll probably be mostly temporarily. And who is the biggest loser in all of this? Casper Flack, of course. Tailsborough down there in 12th. Of course, yes, the random double stacking. That's a big problem in this, of course.
Yeah, so a couple of drivers definitely would have been caught out by that one. If we look at Jan, though, we mentioned Jan earlier on in the race, had a really good start. He's currently a net, what is that? Currently a net 7th place after starting last.
Yeah, he's done pretty well for himself, I'd say. 10th place right now. Obviously, he'll be net 8th soon, but, you know, never give up if you're banned from qualifying. Never give up if you're not in qualifying or qualify badly. If you can hold your nerve and make the moves, anything can happen.
Yeah, and he's got himself right in the thick of it. Spanias is most certainly the one to watch, though, and he's going to be attacking one of the championship protagonists right off the bat. Moustache is going to be under pressure straight away. He's been pretty quiet in this race so far since getting overtaken earlier on and has just sort of sat in the middle of that massive DRS train. Was a pretty good spectator to the accident that happened just in front of him. So I wonder if Moustache is going to try making some moves, because, like I said earlier, that's been his downfall.
Indeed it has. You would hope to change that course today, as Marius is currently leading. We should be getting underway again, I feel. Yep, there. As soon as I say it, well done. No commentator's curse today. Commentator's orders, more like, because the doctor is away. A commentator a day keeps the doctor away.
I was very worried, actually, with some of the guys in the midfield charging into Ascari, because the leaders had obviously already backed off. And I think Nico and Moustache came through Ascari very, very quickly and then had to hack the anchors on to make sure they didn't clatter into the back of the cars in front of them. All okay, though.
Marius is weaving like mad, and that's so he can get temperature in those tyres. They are going to be pretty cold after running on low speed. But here he goes, should be getting around at the parabolic, and now he's going to drop the throttle. He's got to drop it before he gets to the finish line. Is where the race control is, and there it is. We're back underway. Lap number 10, 18 laps to go, and it is Marius that leads the way after the safety car. But M. Sapala is going to try and take that position, and there's Thomas Covers as well trying to fight for the position. There's going to be moves made. It is M. Sapala and Thomas Covers going into the corner, and there's a big slide for Yasser Saki, who's in the net lead right now. Massive skirmishes in the back. But it is going to be Marius that leads him out of the first turn. Now, Yasser Saki and Paul, this is for the net lead. keep your eyes on this battle because it's going to be very important. And Paul is through. Paul is through. He's coming into the corner. Oh, dearie me. That was a very close moment for Moustache and Nikos. Both get it unscathed, and they're still fighting as well. Behind that's Nikos and Banyas fighting for the position. Jan's lost 2 spaces already. That's not good. The comeback is now taking a turn for the worst, as now Casper Flack and Zane are swarming around him like madmen looking for his, well, let's not go there, shall we?
Oh, let's leave that out. I'd be amazed if Moustache didn't get in a legal overtake there, because it doesn't look like he did, but he definitely went off the track to get past Nico. I'm not sure if the overtake was fully completed or not, but he got the position and definitely had a bumpy ride over those sausage curbs to boot as well.
Nikos right behind Moustache. This is important. Moustache needs to hold this position, but he's well behind Nordic Ninja. He's not going to get any sort of help from him. DRS will be enabled next lap. Nikos has all the speed, all the momentum to get past and takes that 7th place from him. Heading into the corners, another battle behind. That's Casper Flack, who's been battling a lot today and has already went to a pit stop. Cannot get past Jan, and Jan holding that position very firmly, as that is one of the cars. I think that's Lakitu at the back. Yeah, he cut the corner completely and gets a penalty as a result.
Nico and Moustache are in big trouble. That gap's nearly a second to the back of Nordic Ninja. The guys out in front, the pace is still pretty decent from Marius Formula, MC Parla and Thomas Covers. So if Nico, Moustache and Spanias fight too much and lose that 1 second gap, which they have just done, Nico is now 1.1 seconds off the back of Nordic Ninja. This could be big trouble for one of the championship protagonists. And Spanias has had an excellent run out of the second Lesmo and could be challenging down towards Ascari, but I think a little bit of ERS usage is going to save Moustache from that assault.
We come through again, and that's Moustache even in more trouble now. He has a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings, as Paul has just passed Thomas Covers, and now he's going to do the same with Msapala. No challenge from Msapala, but Yasosaki can't get past Thomas Covers. Now Paul's going to try and get past Marios, which he should do, but Msapala's right behind. He may play spoiler in this one. Look how close 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th are. This may be chaos heading into the first corner. Yashosaki's going to try and get past Thomas Covers, and Paul's going to get past Marios. Now, will everyone get out of this corner? Oh no! Oh dear. Msapala turned around by Yasosaki. Has to do a drift to get back on the track, and that is very bad for him. Spanias now on the medium tyres, now attacking Nordic Ninja. Nordic Ninja, we saw him throw an outrageous move into their 3rd, and he's going to try and defend from, and he has done that successfully. And there's a glitch there as well for Spanias. I do apologise for that, but Nordic Ninja holds on to position.
Nordic Ninja's got half a front wing, and I wouldn't be surprised. And yes, Yasosaki with damage as well. I didn't quite see what happened, but I think it was potentially a day late and $1 short from Yasosaki, because he wasn't fully alongside MC Parla going into the first chicane. And now Spanias, Nico, Moustache, they've got to get past these circle group of cars. This has worked out absolutely beautifully for ET8 Paul. All of his Christmases have come at once here, because he's comfortably ahead of his main rivals in this race. Yeah, he doesn't need to depend on Mariah Carey now to save him, and we've lost Msapala in the wall. Now, I don't think that's going to trigger a safety car, because there's no knowledge of it advancing any further. So yeah, it doesn't look like we're going to get anything. And now look at this battle happening in front of our eyes. Nordic Ninja is going to get absolutely swarmed as he chases down Yasosaki. Yasosaki's going to try and defend his own position. Here we go. Oh my goodness, they're all going for the same position. This is going to be dangerous if they don't back out, but it looks like they have. And Nordic Ninja, with half a front wing, is into 4th. Oh! Moustache is out! Moustache, the championship challenger, is out! He got a cropper out of the chicane, and it's over for Moustache. Paul's Christmas has just become every day. He asked Wizard if he could make it Christmas every day, and he just has. I think that might have been entirely self-inflicted. I saw him coming out of the first chicane, got on the power way too early, had a massive wobble. Then we cut away to the wide shot through Curva Grande, and I think he was still having the same tank slapper that then threw him into the wall. Maybe a little bit of contact in there as well between, who was he near? He was with Nico Sauce and Spanias. But that is Moustache, and I think that is potentially championship over.
Well, yeah, there's 2 rounds to go. At this rate, Paul is going to have, oh gosh. He's going to have 91 points. He already has a point for the pole position. He already has a point for pole position. He's staying out, as you would. And Magnus and Thomas are going to pit, as they would. They have no other choice.
Ninja's staying out.
What? Do you know something we don't? It's getting sunnier.
His straight line speed's going to be pretty good with half a front wing, I'll tell you that, but going to be struggling a little bit through these corners. I mean, that is a lot of damage. That's not just a little chunk taken out of the end plate. That's half the left hand or half the right hand side of that front wing gone.
It is. So that is Moustache's first non-finish of the season. Well, actually, yeah, it's first time he's not classified. Of course, he didn't finish in Jeddah, and I don't think he even finished in Mexico either. So, despite a little bounce back, it's gone from bad to worse for Moustache, and Paul has just got better and better, despite that Jeddah incident that wasn't his fault. Who else have we got to note here?
Casper Flack back up into 6th place after everything that's ensued in this race.
Oh yes, so he would actually gain on Moustache, but he would be too far behind. In fact, Paul could just wrap it up at the next race because no one is getting near him right now.
How the turns have tabled.
Motion to reconsider has turned the table.
We've still got 16 runs. We're only halfway through this race. We've had quite a lot of action. 6 drivers coming in to fit the yellow stripe medium tyres. Notably in there, Jan coming in for a second stop. Yasir Saki also pitting to get rid of that front wing damage as Nordic Ninja stays out. Lawrence Spanias coming in once again. Perfect timing really for Spanias. Another set of mediums to the end of the race. So his gamble may pay off pretty nicely there. We've got to keep an eye on Spanias for the rest of this race. Thomas Covers and Marius Formula also in that group at the back.
Well, I've realised they've got red lights on. It's not a red flag. Got red lights on the light pylons at the start, but it's not a red flag. Should be yellow lights. I remember it used to be orange lights in F1 Digital Plus, and the red lights were like big red lights. Don't know why though. F1 Digital Plus was like well ahead of its time.
Yeah, it was.
Just a shame it didn't last.
How do you think about it? Yeah.
Because if you watched it on terrestrial, on the BBC, oh, it's not BBC then, it was ITV, not only did you get ad breaks when big moments were happening, but you didn't get to see how many laps were left, you barely got to see what positions were, what the gaps were, but now you get all that information.
How did anybody live in that world?
It was better back then. On
the
F1
racing,
Digital
potentially.
Plus. Yeah,
hopefully
but
the
nobody's
safety car's in
subscribed
this
to
lap,
it.
by the way. True.
Should be.
Come
It's
on, Yasir
not.
Saki. Let's catch up. There
It's
we
in
go.
now. So it'll be Paul that leads the way, and he's slowing well down. Got 12 laps to go when they cross the line. And that's a massive line of shaking cars. Where's that TikTok? I mean, my goodness, he's slowing well down. Don't you think there should be a minimum speed limit? It's not very slow, it's also very dangerous.
Under 50 miles an hour.
Minimum speed limit, please. There needs to be one on the road and on F1 as well. This is getting very tedious, very dangerous, and honestly, I'm not surprised this is not being investigated.
He's going to take this as long as he wants. Whoa, big slide. Nordic Ninja getting on the power.
Well
Same for
away.
Telsborough, but Casper Flack is caught up behind because of the yellow flags, and he can't overtake, and that could leave him at the mercy of Zane as we start lap 16 with a championship leader in the lead, and it's Nico Source under pressure from Epic Vale down into turn number 1. And look at Nordic Ninja was having a look at the inside, dummy to the outside, didn't quite have the space, having to stay in there. Epic Vale and Nico Source continuing to squabble over 3rd and 4th place. Thankfully, room left by both drivers, so we don't see a collision coming out of the first chicane, and Nico using that battery to good effect, but he's used absolutely all of it in the first 30 seconds of the restart. He's got 10% left.
Yeah, he's got 10% left, and is that a battle there happening? No, it's not. I thought someone was going to try and make a move into the chicane, but no, they have not. They all come through pretty safely, and that's Nordic Ninja already lost position. He's already struggling now with that broken wing, and he's lost position. My goodness, how has Casper Flag not crashed there? Nordic Ninja defending it like his life depends on it. That podium spot. And now he's only causing more chaos behind.
He's got every right to. He's decided to start with half a front wing. He's going to battle very, very hard because he is under pressure from the McLaren Esports every car of Epic Vale. Couldn't get past Nico Source on the restart. He is going to get past Nordic Ninja and push Nordic Ninja out of the podium places. I think he could start to tumble like a stone here.
Tumble like a stone indeed. And here comes Talesborough. Easiest move of his life. Maybe.
Maybe not.
Yeah, he's through now. And that might be Casper Flack coming through as well. And it is. Heading down to the first corner. Oh, goodness me. Casper Flack making an absolute lunge. And nearly pulls it off. But he's going to have some... No, he's not going to have any chance at overtaking Talesborough. It was worth a shot, though. Paul's lead is 1.6 seconds. Zane goes on the outside of Nordic Ninja. Nordic Ninja starting to fall right down the order.
Respect to Casper Flag, he saw a gap that was only just wide enough for a Formula 1 car, and he put his car in that gap, almost to crash, both of them keeping it clean. In the end, Talesborough just about holding on to it from the sneak attack from the McLaren Esports livery car behind. And now it is a free-for-all from second down into sixth. The Nordic Ninja, you would imagine, is going to lose more places, but he could cost the likes of Diogo Silva and Marius Moore if they drop out of the 1 second window.
And Diogo Silva goes through now. He's into 7th place. Nordic Ninja, who pulled off an audacious move in the race earlier, free wide move, has now gone falling down the order and now down into 9th. The back half of the field still in the race. Now back to the front. Paul running away. As you said, his Christmas has come very, very, very prematurely, and he will not mind. Casper Flack now battling Talesborough. He almost got him last time. Is he going to get him this time? They come down towards the corner. It's going to be Arnold Brawl into the first corner. That is Epic Vale on the inside of Talesborough, and there it is. He's going to take 3rd place, and Casper Flack is there as well. Casper Flack trying to get through Talesborough, but he can't seem to do it. Or he's going to try it here. He's going to try it here. No, don't you dare. 3 wide. Are you sure? No, of course not. And he has to back out as well. Talesborough holds on to position somehow. Talesborough still in 4th.
Excellent defence from Epic Vale there, you have to say, down into the chicane. Talesborough trying what Casper Flack did to him on the previous lap, wasn't successful as he remains in the McLaren Esports livery car. Sandwich Epic Vale struggling, maybe just trying to hang on to the coattails of Nico in front. That gap just under 6 tenths per second as Spanias gets past Nordic Ninja now, and Lawrence I think is going to follow through into Ascari. Yes, that is Nordic Ninja now out of the points paying positions.
And his bravery to stay out has come at a major cost. Falling down the order like pretty much any song that just gets a one-hit wonder, basically. Name a few, I dare you. I don't know. Anything released by Lad Baby.
Oh. Sorry.
Casper Flack passing Talesborough as he nearly hits Epic Vale, and somehow into 4th, apologies. My word, what a race from these 2 McLaren drivers. This is what McLaren should be doing.
Yeah, I think there was contact, but he's going to make light work of his McLaren Esports livery car counterparts through Curva Grande and up into 3rd place. That's 2 moves in the space of the first sector of this lap. Casper Flack up into 3rd. Excellent recovery job, aided of course by the safety car after that collision earlier on in the race.
I should go back to battle. Sorry, I missed that one. I'm seeing Yasser Saki trying to pass Nordic Ninja, and he's having nothing of it. He can't seem to get past it. Oh, Nordic Ninja nearly loses it. Here comes Yasser Saki now on the outside. And now Thomas Covers is going to be speculating to accumulating. But it's going to be Yasser Saki that gets 1 step closer to the points. In fact, is 1 step away from the points. And now Nordic Ninja is going to get passed by Thomas Covers sooner or later. In fact, actually, Nordic Ninja is close to Yasser Saki again. What's this? What the hell is going on here? What is that? Thomas Covers has... Was there a brake test there? Thomas Covers has completely lost his wing as Casper Flack gets into second place. And Epic Vale goes into third place. Now they're going to try and chase down Paul, even if it's a slow chance of winning this race. And oh dear, it's chaos at the back.
Yeah, bumper cars being played by a lot of drivers. Epic Vale was coming like an Exocet missile towards Nico there. The smallest of gaps around the outside.
And Thomas
Covers retires. Is that a safety car? It's a virtual safety car.
And this might not be good news for Paul, actually.
Oh, even Nye is driving into the wall.
Why?
I don't know. It was very, very strange. Right tucked up underneath the rear wing of Lakitu.
What's he doing? He's gone on the grass.
On the grass?
You're on candid camera, even Nye. Please do not swear. Alright, I just combined candid camera and that when they're live on Big Brother Eviction Night. But Paul's actually taking advantage of this. He's 2.5 seconds ahead, and Casper Flack is just backing him up. Not good for them. It is still a VSC, by the way.
Yeah, very important to watch out for Mario's Formula, who is on the medium tyres and very much in this race for second place.
Here we go again. Oh!
We're going
Casper
once again.
Flack has made a massive slide out of the corner. Horrible reaction now. Epic Vale is going to try and take his position. In fact, they could put this to advantage. They swap positions continuously, then they're going to get closer to Paul. They've got 7 laps to do it. It's never over until it's over. Epic Vale now into second. Mario's battling Zane into the chicane, and he takes position. Not so insane, but he's going to try and find a way past Tailsborough now. He's right beside him in the Curva Grande. But there's nothing going to be had, it seems. Those medium tyres really start to come into play right now.
Had no battery left, drained all of it in getting past Zane down into turn number 1, so having to settle for 6th place there. Epic Vale swapping with his McLaren Esports livery counterpart. Nico sat just in there, Tailsborough as well with Marius Formula. Diogo Silva's on the back of this train, and Spanias, another one to watch on the medium tyres, has just caught up to the DRS train as well.
And as you can see, the gap is starting to get closer between Casper Flack and Nico Sauce, and Epic Vale as well. They need to stop battling each other. Do you want to win this race or not? I sound like
on this lap.
Yeah, I sound like a strict head teacher, but they've got to make this move. After all, they came here to win a race, and they're just letting Paul win this championship. The last thing you want to do, as we have a yellow flag, Evan Nye has sorry, not Evan Nye, Lakitu has had a spin. It's going to be all out bloodshed now as Paul just runs away in the distance. Casper Flack and Epic Vale are going to battle, and now Nikos is going to come in and possibly make it 3 wide into the corner. It's not 3 wide. He just slots in between the 2 McLaren Esports cars and now is in 3rd place.
Deja vu from last week, not working with each other, too busy fighting amongst themselves. They had that gap at 1.2 seconds as we came through the first chicane on the restart. Now, Casper Flack, 2.2 seconds back. They've absolutely blown the golden opportunity that they had.
Indeed they have. Now they're just fighting for pride pretty much. Well, 12 points anyway. But still coming through. There is still this slim hope that there is an intervention from above, but don't bank on it at all. Well, the gap's actually coming down to 2 seconds, but it may be too late as they're just squabbling amongst each other again. No real battles happening as I see. They're just spacing out each other. 1.952 now as Casper comes down to stretch. Paul still running away in the Pink Panther car. Please don't have to need to do any investigative work. He's well ahead. 1.8 ahead. And let's see what happens with Casper Flack, who nearly lost it when the virtual safety car ended. And that may be where the dagger pretty much went through his heart. And Tailsborough is going to up right past Epic Vale. Into the first corner they go again, and they're squabbling against each other. And now Epic Vale is going to be battling Marios on the outside. Great attacking from Marios, and they nearly collided each other. Epic Vale shuts the door. Zane goes around and takes 6th place. And now he's going to be right behind Epic Vale as well.
Mario's not going to be too pleased with that, methinks. Pushed onto the grass. I don't think it was entirely fair there from Epic Vale, who was overtaken very, very easy by Tailsborough coming out of Parabolica. Then got sent up the inside by Mario Storm. It was pretty clean, to be honest, from the driver, now down in 7th, but Epic Vale clearly having none of it.
Nordic Ninja is battling with Heaven now, but that's all he's going to be doing for the rest of this race. 5 to go. And it is a battle pretty much for second best right now. And that is Vale right ahead of Zane. And he's starting to swivel around very shakily. Ascari. Zane starting to catch up now in what looks like the Alfa Romeo livery from last year. May they rest in Formula 1 peace. Now, going to try and get past Epic Vale. But now it's going to be another battle for... Now he's 2 seconds down. Again... Zane gets past Epic Vale. Nico Sauce is going to get his second place back. All of a sudden, he's back to where he started.
Yeah, you got to feel for Casper Flack, trying to lead this peloton up towards ET8 Pool, but not getting a lot of help. Nico only using his battery halfway down the straight there. I wonder if he's going to push. There's still potentially a chance somebody else could win this race, but they're running out of laps. ET8 Pool with a 2-second margin, comfortable at the moment. Marius Formula renewing his scrap with Epic Vale down into the second chicane. Later on the brakes, more grip on those medium tyres, and up into 6th place.
The gap now 2.2. Paul's just breezing away as we thought. He just seems unstoppable right now. Paul, who has won in Spain, won in Japan, is now going to be the first driver, possibly, to win 3 in a season this season. And he didn't, let's be honest, he didn't really have to cause much drama. He's just been driving his own race, and that's all you have to do to win here in PSGL. These guys have just fought amongst themselves, and it's not helping anyone. I don't mean to be a strong critic, but if you're going to fight amongst themselves rather than win, then you're going to pay the price.
Who is ever happy finishing second place? That's
no,
what we've
not
got to
me.
ask. Tailsborough, meanwhile, has got an absolutely full battery of charge, and he could be in second place coming the end of this straight. Casper Flack certainly going to overtake Nico Source. Tailsborough willing to sit behind for the time being. Casper Flack reassumes second place in this race. Zane's still in there in 5th. Marius Formula very close to the back of him, though.
And now Nico Sauce is going to be under fire from Tailsborough. But he's going to try and make a move on the inside out of Carver Grande. No, come on, don't do that. Free wide doesn't work at Monza. You have to wait your turn. And he does. Look at the gap. They're 3.2. 3.2. They're going to look back at this thing. Why did we do this?
1.2 seconds. That was the gap. What was it, 4 laps ago? They've squabbled amongst themselves. They've tried to save their ERS while they're behind and not use it when they're overtaking each other. And look at the result.
How does Paul lose this race as Nikosos gets back into second place? He will be pretty pleased with that, considering everything that's happened. He lost a couple positions at the start. He managed to get them back now, but he's going to be under fire from Casper Flack and Tailsborough, who are swapping positions down the back stretch. And in fact, Tailsborough loses it as Casper Flack is the last to break into the Parabolica. Now, who's going to be leading here? 3 seconds, the gap at the top. But it's... Don't tell me what the gap is here. Who's going to try and take the position here? Tailsborough gets past Casper Flack. Is anyone going to go for the lunge in the inside of Nico Sauce? No is the answer. And it is going to be Tailsborough in the podium positions once again.
Yeah, these guys have quite obviously given up on ET8 Pool now. If there's one track that you can DRS share to get back in touch with the runaway leader, it is Monza, but obviously we've decided that we're going to settle for second place. And only one person is going to end up finishing in second place, which is one position behind the place that everybody wants to finish in. Marius Formula, excellent run through the second chicane, sent it up the inside into the first Lesmo. Bit of a barge past TRT Zane up into 5th place.
What a brave move! Ruthless as well, into 5th place, and Zane didn't seem to have a problem with it. He stayed in bounds, so that move is pretty much clean as a whistle. Oh my goodness! Tailsborough and Casper Flack nearly collide into Ascari, and Casper Flack blindsided. Now Marius might try and take 4th place here. He's on for a podium, Marius. My word!
Those medium tyres looking very, very nice. Casper Flack had a little nibble down the inside of Tailsborough into the Parabolica and almost caught him out as he pulled over to the left-hand side to get out underneath the rear wing of Tailsborough. This is the last lap. This is the final opportunity they're going to get to drag race it down towards turn number 1. Nico is going to be a sitting duck, moves over to the middle of the track, but he is absolutely defenceless. Through goes Tailsborough, through goes Casper Flack. Marius Formula way too late on the brakes and he spins it as well.
And he loses all those positions that he could have gained. But now he's down to 7th, and now he's going to be battling for 6th with Epic Vale, but he's too far ahead. Now he's losing it. He's got no temperature. The temperature's too high. He gets passed by Diogo Silva. And now, down in 8th place, it's all gone wrong. He got tricked out of position, and now he's just fighting for the smaller points. And with those tyres as well. Oh, no.
His eyes turned to dinner plates as he saw the gap open round the outside, but then he found out he wasn't hungry, went way too late on the brakes and half spun it, losing all those places. There's still a race on for second place, so Casper Flack almost pushing Tailsborough through the Ascari chicane. It's going to be a race down towards the Parabolica.
Here they come then to the line. Paul is well ahead, but we've got to keep track of the battle here. Tailsborough and Casper Flack battling for the position. They touch each other into the position. Paul's going to cross the line as your winner, but who's going to get second place into the final? I think it's going to be Tailsborough. Tailsborough gets it, but Paul has dominated tonight. And there's a big crash behind, I think, as well. That is, I don't know who that is, actually. It involved Lawrence. He went right in the gravel, and it's down in 11th place. Jan gets a point from last. I don't see that's too bad at all.
Mario's Formula will be cursing that. He had second place potentially in the palm of his hands, but just overcooked it. And that little mistake, just a tiny bit too late on the brakes, that is the difference between potentially second and 9th place in this race. Casper Flack, he had an opportunity on the run out of the Parabolica, but as we've seen a lot in this 27-lap race, a little bit too overzealous on the throttle, bit of a wobble, and that really ruined his run coming up towards the line.
But Paul, with that win, has now won 3 times this season. 3 times. Jad, by the way, gets an extra point. He got the fastest lap. But Paul now up to 91 points. Moustache remains where he is. 20 points down. And Casper Flack, did he finish 3rd? He'll be up to 67 if that's the case.
Yes.
Tailsborough up to 56. With that, Marios will be 1 point ahead of Tailsborough on 57.
I said at the very start, this could be the race where the championship swings in one person's favour, and it turned out it was ET8 Paul because he kept it clean. Others certainly didn't, but he also had the pace advantage. Tailsborough and Casper Flack rounding out the podium. Nikosos missing out by just under 2/10. Then comes Zane, Epic Vale, who got his elbows out late on. Diogo Silva picks up a decent haul of points. Spanias wasn't able to capitalise on those medium compound tyres, just getting stuck at the back of the DRS train. Marius Formula ends up finishing where he started, and Jan with a good recovery from that quali ban to finish in 10th place, although it could have been better potentially if that second safety car didn't come out. Lawrence and Yasisaki just missing out. Got a feel for Yasisaki. He made that mistake, contact with M. Sipala into the first chicane. Looked 50-50, maybe a 60-40, because I think Yasisaki just potentially put his nose in there when that door was always going to be closing. Lack to even nigh. Nordic Ninja the last of the finishers. Thomas Covers, Moustache and M. Sipala, the retirees.
Yeah, so Paul now with a 20-point lead in the championship. He can win it at the next race if he finishes ahead of his rivals. So Paul with a statement win here. He can win it in Qatar and will not have to win it at Brazil. And that will be it all said and done. Everyone else paid the price for their unnecessary squabbling, I must say. And Paul capitalised as he would, as you would, and now is one step closer to eternal glory.
Even though we did have some unnecessary squabbling at times, I think that was a fun one to watch. Maybe it was, well, I think it probably was infuriating for a lot of the drivers, but as a spectacle, that's going to be on the high side of the rankings out of 10.
Absolutely. So, 2 rounds to go here. We've got Qatar, which will be next week, Losail Circuit, and Brazil, which is, of course, Interlagos. and they will round out the season. So the 23rd of September, 7 o'clock, and the 30th of September at the same time. Until then, I've been Otaku Logan. He has been T-Dub. We will... Oh, by the way, you know what we've not done? We've mentioned we have some sponsors.
We do, and they're very important. If you check out GT Omega, title sponsor of PSGL, if you head over there and use the code PSGL, you can get 5% off their products. I encourage you to go and get involved in that. And also Sim Racing Centre SRC, if you would like any setup, strategic advice, or just some analysis and help from some potential F1 esports drivers or F1 sim racing drivers, whatever it's called now. If you head over there, use the same code PSGL, and that'll give you 10%.
Absolutely. So, I will see you next week at the same time, same place. You be sure of it, and he will too, I hope. Until then, thank you for watching another insane race, and until next week.